Hello there, friends and enemies, and welcome back to... Gate Ruler was released in English in March of 2022. In the months leading up to this, I was spammed with Gate Ruler ads on every single website I went to, and it looked so cool to me. A new Japanese card game that was soon going to be coming to English. So of course, when it came out, I had to pick it up. And Gate Ruler was kind of a surprise. It's a really interesting card game, mechanically speaking. It plays vaguely similarly to a Flesh and Blood type. You get a ruler card that your deck is based on that tells you how many cards your deck can have, how you start every turn, how many resources that you get, stuff like that. In this way, making the card game a little bit more restrictive, but also at the same time making it a little bit more interesting to play, in my opinion. While I haven't gotten to play Gate Ruler yet, I do think that the game seems a little bit fun, so let's go ahead and go over the deck and how it works. As I said before, your deck and the entire gameplay premise of Gate Ruler is based on your ruler card. Every ruler card has a life value for you, the player, an attack value, yes, you can attack with them, and a STK value that is used when attacking another person's ruler. As I said before, this card determines your deck size, and your deck is made up of 3 primary different card types: unit cards, field cards, and event cards. All of these cards have a card level in the upper left-hand corner, which also acts as the card cost, the amount of resources that you need to pay in order to play that card. Similarly to ruler cards on the left-hand side, unit cards have a attack value and an STK value, but they also have a health point value, which is the amount of damage that that unit can take before it gets destroyed. And in the lower left-hand corner of all of these cards, there is a faction symbol. Now, each ruler determines how many factions your deck can have, so this is going to be kind of important when it comes to deck building. As of right now, at least to my knowledge, there are 5 factions in total, so you've got a little bit of leniency when it comes to building decks. The cards themselves are pretty basic in nature, so let's go ahead and take a look at the gameplay. So here is the Gate Ruler playmat, and we start the game off with our deck in our deck slot and our ruler in its ruler zone. Our ruler determines how we begin the game, so our ruler here, the Knight, determines that we start with 2 cards in our hand and with 3 resources in our resource zone. We start our turn off in the start phase, where we listen to our ruler's start of turn step. Our Knight allows us to draw 2 cards at the start of our turn into our hand. We move from the start phase into the main phase, where there are a couple of things that we can do. We can choose to play cards or activate abilities. When we choose to play a card, we can place it down onto the field in whatever zone we'd like to, and pay the resources for that card by switching them sideways. This is called exhausting. If we have an event card in our hand, we can choose to set our card into a set zone, which would cost us no resources. Later on, if the resources are available, we can pay those resources to activate the event card in our set zone. Just make sure you're paying attention to your event so you know exactly when you can activate it. We can also choose to freely move units between our attack zones or into our defense zone by exhausting it. From the main phase, we move on to the attack phase. During the attack phase, we can choose to attack with our ruler or with one of our units by exhausting them in order to attack. If we choose to attack our opponent's units, we're adding our attack value on either our ruler or the unit that we're attacking with to their HP value of their unit. If that opponent's unit has a lower health value than the attack of either the ruler or the unit that we're using, that monster gets destroyed. If the unit has more HP, it stays on the field but keeps the damage it's taken this turn so far. It's important to note that when a unit gets attacked, it does not trade damage with the ruler or unit attacking it, meaning that the damage is only coming from the attacker's side. If we choose to attack our opponent's ruler, instead of using the attack, we're going to use the STK in the green circle for the damage output. When a ruler takes damage, the player being attacked takes the STK of the ruler or unit attacking them and takes that many cards from the top of their deck and reveals them. Then they put that amount into the damage zone. If one of these cards has a counter ability measured by the CNT on the card, that card's counter ability gets activated and then it simply goes to the graveyard. At this point, we move into the end phase of the turn, wherein we remove any damage from any units that may have taken damage this turn, we activate any end of turn effects, and then our opponent gets to start their turn. At the start of our turn, we ready any exhausted units. We go ahead and take a look at our start of turn, which knight allows us to ready 2 resource cards, and we draw 2 from the top of our deck because of our knight. A player loses once their damage equals to their ruler's life total, or when they have 0 cards in their deck slot. And there we have Gate Ruler, a pretty simple game that's a little bit restrictive, but I think personally that adds for a pretty nuanced gameplay. I can definitely see if you're a player that likes card games that allow you to have the ability to pull off giant crazy combos, this game may not be for you. I'm not sure if they've brought anything into the game that can allow you to just combo off, but I assume not, given how small the play area they give you is. Although I do think it's interesting that this game urges you to be a little bit more thoughtful when creating your deck because of these restrictions. Money-wise, Gate Ruler's kind of a rocky slope. Decks can generally range in price. They're usually supposed to be around $10–15, but cards can shoot up in price super quick with Gate Ruler, as we've seen with quite a few other card games. However, if you would like to try the game out without spending money on it first, I believe that it is free to play on Octagon, which I'll go ahead and leave a link for down below. Overall, I don't really have too much to say about Gate Ruler. Unfortunately, this is one that not only do I not get to play, but it's also really hard to see other people playing out in the wild. I haven't really found anybody that's really on that Gate Ruler train. As I said before, I was super excited for this game, and coming out of the boat, it kind of just flopped on my end, given that I couldn't really get anybody to seem to be interested in it. And over time, my enthusiasm for the game has kind of waned, but I would still like to try out some stuff with it. I've done some deck building on the Gate Ruler website, and I think it would be fun to try out some new stuff. All that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and give Gate Ruler a 6.5 out of 10 for right now. I can't really rate it lower or higher, given that it just kind of seems in a nebulous state from where I'm standing. But that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I expected this video to be a little bit more exciting, but it kind of just, making it just kind of felt like it was straight to the point a little too much. So I apologize if it was a bit of a boring watch, but hopefully you've been enjoying the content streams that I've been putting out. I have a bunch more ideas that I am ready to start rolling out really soon. That being said, thank you once again for watching, and I hope it was an enjoyable experience for you. Until next time, as always, drink your water.